As you can see, my video looks pretty bad right now. I'm currently filming on a Logitech webcam that my work sent me so that I can do some video conferencing. I was in a video conference today with my boss, and I noticed that my video just didn't look great. I looked kind of washed out, very pixelated, and just not very good. My goal is to build something that'll make my video look much better without having to buy a new webcam. Let's get started. So here's what I'm thinking. This little camera is what I'll be conferencing with, so I'd like it to be in the center of my computer screens. To do this, I'm going to try and move this monitor on top of this one so that it's a vertical setup. Once the monitors are set up vertically, I can introduce my work laptop here. To improve the lighting during my calls, I'm thinking of a long crossbar with bright white LED bulbs on each tip. This way, I'll be illuminated from all angles. I of course am also going to need to wire in a switch so that the lights aren't always blindingly bright. For the lighting rig, I wanted something super modular, so I decided on PVC piping. I was going to start off with a cross joint and then attach 4 about 1 foot length PVC pipes and run wires throughout them. With a rough idea of what I was looking for, I geared up and I headed out to the store. I started off with Canadian Tire, and when that didn't pan out, I headed over to Home Depot. I was able to buy some PVC piping and dowels of wood, but I quickly realized that buying electronics retail was going to cost me an arm and a leg. So I fired up Amazon and got the light sockets that I was going to need for significantly cheaper. After waiting a few days for my sockets to arrive and with my materials in hand, I set off to my girlfriend's house to borrow some tools from her father. He helped me drill all the holes I would need and put some mounting screws on for the sockets. Now with all my materials ready, I began with the light system. I selected these wired connectors so that my light system could connect either directly to a power source or with an inline switch. That way, it wouldn't be bound to my desk area. I fed all the wiring through the PVC pipes and joined them with the cross joint. I then set off to start my soldering. Due to the length of the wires, my mobility was really limited while soldering, so it took a very long time. After about an hour, I was all done, and I could move on to the final assembly. I connected all the wiring to the light sockets and then connected the light sockets to the PVC. I also ran a wire through holes that we drilled in 2 of the PVCs so that the light could hang on the wall. With the lighting system all complete, it was time for the moment of truth, hanging it up and turning it on. Now, I'm pretty confident in the work that I do, but anytime a project involves 120 volts, it's always a bit nerve-wracking when you first start it up. With the lights all bright and beaming, it was time to move on to the second phase of the project. The vertical monitor stand posed a bit more of a problem than the lighting system. The original plan was to extend this main bar here and add a crossbar to it with ring clamps. The monitor stands would then attach to that crossbar, giving us a vertical monitor setup. Issues started to arise when I realized that a horizontal monitor stand wasn't going to be strong enough to hold the monitors vertically. And as these monitors were provided to me by my workplace, I didn't really want to run the risk of having them coming crashing down. I spent a lot of hours and went through countless zip ties trying to figure out how to make this work. But then I realized just because you've started a project sometimes isn't a good enough reason to justify finishing it. And while it probably makes the completion of this project a little bit less satisfying, it saved me countless hours of frustration and probably a couple $100s in broken monitors down the road to simply get a used vertical monitor stand off Amazon, receive it with 1-day shipping, and have the whole setup done the next day. After setting up my new monitor stand and doing some basic cable management, you can see that the new work from home setup not only looks great, but is extremely close to my original vision for it. This being said, is it actually going to improve my video conferencing quality? I'm inclined to say yes. And while the lights are very bright right in front of me, that's a small price to pay to project this profoundly professional portrait. Thanks for watching.